a mystery. Jesus is crowned with thorns, thorns digging into your flesh, like my thoughts, piercing into my mind, telling me that they will catch me and beat me and rape me and kill me. Oh God, help us, make us invisible to them.
Welcome to Inside New York. It is the 25th anniversary of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda. We are so proud and honored to have on today's program, as part of our special series on African Americans in theater, a brilliant playwright, actress, and now producer of Immaculee in Rwanda. We welcome Leslie Lewis on Inside New York. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here.
Good, yes. You know, I remember when you first started this project 10 years ago, and I have to commend you and really bring into focus how you have been putting a spotlight on this tragedy that occurred in Rwanda for over a decade. So I'm sure it is with, bittersweet thoughts in having to celebrate and pay tribute for the 25th anniversary of this 1994 genocide of the Tutsis.
Yes, it is the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi commemoration time right now. It's called Kwibuka, which means remember in Ikinyarwanda, the language of Rwanda. And this is a very sacred time, this time between April 7th and July 4th, which is the 100 days during which the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi took place. And it is bittersweet. I know that the actress, our actress Malaika Uwamahoro, she is a Rwandan national, and for her, she's performing this show, this story about one of her countrywomen, and during this time, it has special resonance.
Oh, I'm sure. And I wanted us to definitely talk about how you got involved with this play. What compelled you to tackle such a, thorny and really gut-wrenching issue 10 years ago?
Well, the show is called Miracle in Rwanda, as you said, and the miracle is that this woman, Immaculee Ilibagiza, and actually my middle name is Malaika also, so there are a lot of M's in our names. So Immaculee Ilibagiza survived by hiding in a 3-foot by 4-foot bathroom with others for almost 3 months, but even though she was surviving this awful situation, she managed, while she was in there, to find a peace within her that all of us can find, whether we're living in very different circumstances than the situation that she was in. And so that's what the story that I want to tell, that it's possible to find peace even in the midst of a Holocaust.
Yes, but I believe 10 years ago it wasn't getting as much attention. I do recall the horrific story portrayed in a film. So it wasn't that unfamiliar to me in later years, but I believe you actually started that play even before the film. Or maybe it's around the same time?
It was around the same time. I think that is actually how Immaculee's story was able to be to get some attention. She had written out her story, and then she met an author, Wayne Dyer, who heard her accent and said, "Where is that from?" And she said, "Rwanda." And he said, "There's something terrible that happened there." And she said, "Yes, I know." And she told him a little bit of her story, and he said, "I am going to help you publish that. I'm going to introduce you to my publisher," and he did.
So it started out as a book.
Well, actually, I met her soon after they met. And so before the book came out, I heard her speak because Wayne started having her Wayne started to have her speak when he was doing speaking engagements. And I heard her at one of these speaking engagements. And here's what she said. She said that the first time the killers came looking into the house, looking to see if they could find Tutsis who were hiding, right, she could hear them. They were saying awful things, but they didn't know she was there. But even though they didn't find her, she felt so afraid that there was pain in her body, like she could feel as if they were already tearing her apart. And later she realized, my thoughts will kill me before the killers ever do. She realized that she needed to put her mind on something good. So she made a decision to pray her father's rosary that he gave her before he sent her to hide. And she prayed that rosary from 6 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night, just over and over, wrote, praying the prayers. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Just like a mantra, so that her mind was focused on God, right, and not what was happening outside. And it transformed her. It gave her a new life. And this story takes place around Easter, and this is the Easter season. And she used the story of the hardship that Jesus went through in order to get to the resurrection, wow, as a way of making herself walk that path. And so she came to a level of forgiveness that really is Christ-like.
Yes. Wow, oh, so many interconnections. Here, you bringing it back after all this time, and it's the 25th anniversary of this horrific, massacre. And at the same time, that it took place around Easter, in the same time period, it's really incredible. It's incredible. I know it must have been a big challenge to produce it, to restage it. And of course, I came there and I was thrilled to come there, thinking I was going to see you perform this again, because I had seen it, in its inception, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to see Leslie again on stage. And, I did look later, it was in small print at the bottom, it's kind of buried that, that there was this actress, because I saw I was like, oh, maybe she's the understudy, it wasn't like in the heading where you would expect that the lead would be listed. It was kind of buried at the very end. But so how did it come about that you decided to relinquish acting in this role, that was really your baby, and selecting someone who I must say is absolutely amazing, because she enacts so many different characters, and she, as you said, she's Rwandan. So, the accent, when I came in and I heard the accent, I was like, oh, wow, Leslie's really mastered that. And then when my eyes focused a little bit more clearly, I said, that's not Leslie. So how did it come about? Why did you decide to bring in someone to do the role? And why Malaika?
Joan, first, thank you for your kind words about me and the performance. And I have done it for 10 years. I did it all over the world. I did it on every continent except Antarctica and South America, depending on how you Costa Rica. But it was time to pass it on to someone else. And the person I wanted to pass it on to, I wanted a Rwandan to be the person to tell this story. And Malaika was just the absolute perfect match for the project. And I'm sorry that we didn't communicate to you that it was her, but I'm glad that you enjoyed her performance, because she really is amazing. And she brings so much to the role that I couldn't possibly have brought, because she is Rwandan. So she brings little things like, there's a moment in the beginning where you say, like, Immaculee, come here. And she adds in the words, Gwino hano, which means come here in Kinyarwanda. And it's very clear, but it just adds this extra level that I really love.
Absolutely. So, how did you discover her? Did someone bring her to your attention, or is it just happenstance?
I have a friend who is one of Immaculate's cousins, and I saw her at a performance of another show about Rwanda, and I said, I'm looking for an actress. I'm looking for a Rwandan actress. Do you know anyone? And she said, I do. And so she connected me by WhatsApp. because WhatsApp is such a useful international connection. So that was one way that I got connected with Malaika. But what's funny is that the artistic director of my theater company, I'm in a theater company called the Magis Theater Company, is George Drance. And he came on board to direct, and he said, I have a student who is a Rwandan actress at Fordham. He's a professor at Fordham at Lincoln Center. And her name is Angel. Well, it turns out they were the same person. And we didn't realize it until later, until after I reached out to Malaika. It was just perfect. So George is directing his former student. George actually is a Jesuit priest by training, as well as an actor and a director. And so it was this marriage of perfect elements coming together.
Okay, so I'm going to have to ask you, in doing this production from start to now, what has been your biggest challenge? I mean, you're in so many different capacities as playwright, actress, and now producer. What do you consider to be the biggest challenge?
I think that it's challenging to, the subject matter is challenging for people because, genocide it's painful to look at. And so I think that it's been important for people to know that this is an inspirational story. But if people don't want to look at the reality of what happened during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, then it will be painful for them. And so I think that's it, bridging the gap. I think this story is inspiring for anybody who cares what happened in Rwanda then, anybody who cares about human rights, and people who want to be inspired to know that no matter what our circumstances, we can find a way to overcome and actually be happy. Immaculee is actually a happy person. And so getting to see how she does that, I think is worth seeing.
Yes, and there have been some news developments just the other day about the fact that Rwanda has broken records in terms of women in parliament. That's exciting.
It is.
Extremely exciting.
Rwanda is a global leader in gender parity.
Yes, it's unbelievable that they could go from that to this. And at the same time, the president gave a speech thanking the Rwandan people at the UN. I don't know if you were present to hear that.
My producer, Alan Dewayne, was present.
Okay, so it seems as though they're well on their way to healing and recovering from, such a tragedy.
Oh yes, Rwanda has come an incredibly long way since 1994. It actually is one of the fastest growing economies in the world, and they are on target to have GDP growing at 7.8% this year. That's compared to the United States, which is 2.5%.
Look at that.
It's one of the cleanest countries in Africa because they have a ban on plastic bags. They have something called Umuganda Day. Every last Saturday of the month, everyone in the country who's able-bodied is expected to go outside in the morning and to pick up trash and to otherwise improve their communal space. And
amazing.
It's a wonderful practice that I think it would be great for us to adopt here in New York City.
Yes, sounds like we could learn a lot from them. What do you hope to accomplish with this play? What would you like people to come away with? And of course, we want to encourage everyone to go see it now, because even though it's been extended until May 11th, that's, right around the corner. So, and it's been extended because it's been selling out. So I want to encourage people to make sure that they buy tickets. We will, of course, post an announcement about where they can buy tickets, and a few lucky winners will be able to take advantage of a pair of tickets that we have reserved for our viewers, just in case, you guys get sold out. So what would you like people to come away with in viewing the play?
I hope people come away with a renewed sense of hope and inspiration for the power of the human heart and the power of faith and connection to that divine core that every human being has inside them.
And you have great plans. This will, it's obviously much too short an engagement. It's be impossible for everybody to see it who gets word of it. So are you in the process of making plans? What's your goal with this piece?
Well, I do want this run to sell out. And
Okay.
we do have many nights sold out, so that's very, very satisfying. And I want everyone to come to see this New York run. We're running, as you said, until May 11th, on Tuesday through Sunday. And then beyond that, we've been invited to do it internationally, so we'll see.
And I believe you're getting some type of recognition at the UN. We can't give the details at this moment. We'll have to have you come back to talk about that.
I can say a little bit, which is just that, yes, very proud that the Rwandan mission to the United Nations has selected Miracle in Rwanda as the official artistic representation to commemorate the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi 25th anniversary.
Oh, wow. That has to make you feel good.
It really does.
It's
a gift.
Absolutely. Well, you are a gift to us, Leslie. And, you're so close by. And the weather is warm now, finally. So we look forward to having you come back and tell us all about, that performance at the UN next. And just how the show has done and where, where it could possibly go next.
Thank you,
So
Joan.
we will be staying in touch. In very close touch. Again, thank you so much for joining us today on Inside New York. And for those who may have missed only part of the segment, we will be, of course, posting it online. So make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Inside New York, and also, of course, on YouTube under Inside New York. Leslie Lewis, so that you will be able to play this at your leisure. I have to encourage everyone to come and see it. It needs a larger stage and a larger run. And if it's something that has to be seen, we will let you know first on Inside New York. This is a must-see.
Thank you, Joan.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Like my thoughts piercing into my mind, telling me that they will catch me and beat me and rape me and kill me. Oh God, help us. Make us invisible to them.